Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 6, and today we're taking a look at the 1998 Nissan Skyline GT-R 40th anniversary. So this was based on the 4th gen, which was produced between 1995 and 1998. It's not the only version of this generation we've had in the game before. We have had the more standard two-door coupe version, but this was nonetheless built to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Skyline's nameplate. And 416 of these were made in total. And yeah, the main difference between this and the other versions of this generation are the fact that it is a four-door, which certainly does make it a bit different in terms of the way it looks, and certainly also makes it better in terms of practicality, as you can see. Because yeah, at the end of the day, getting people into a door is always going to be easier than getting people behind a seat. So yeah. Plenty of room in there, as you can see, and yeah, but pretty much everything else about this car is as the same kind of car as the coupe version, especially in terms of the likes of interior and such. Obviously, there are some nameplate changes here and there. I'm pretty sure you can see this 40th anniversary in the footwell there, or does it just say Skyline? I think it says Skyline 40th anniversary, can't quite see. But there are obviously some other visual changes. There's no rear spoiler, for instance. The badge GT-R is to the right, and there is also says 40th anniversary there under the Skyline name. Fortunately, I can't show you the boot, but I imagine it's still just as practical as a standard Skyline. But yeah, everything else is the same, right down to the fact it's still got the all-wheel drive system, and it has the same engine as well. So it's a 2.6 litre twin turbocharged inline 6, producing 276 horsepower and 271 pounds-feet of torque. Now, the difference in terms of weight, though, means that that engine is obviously not providing as much performance as it would normally, because it now weighs 3,439 pounds, which is 44 pounds more than standard. But still, it's got plenty of power, and also still a 5-speed manual gearbox to make the most of it. And yeah, just visually, it does look a little bit cooler, I guess, if you like your saloons more than your coupes. Certainly makes it a sports saloon car now, rather than just a coupe, so it does have that on its side. Now you can visually change this a little bit in terms of the front and rear bumpers. Yeah, you can give it that if you so wish, or just the Forza Aero. Can't change the side skirts though, but you can give it a Nismo spoiler if you so wish, or just the Forza Aero. Pretty sure we could have done the rear bumper. I seem to have misremembered being able to do that, but yeah, still you can change it a little bit to make it a little bit more sporty if you so wish, but I think on the whole it looks fairly decent on its own right. And this was conceived by Autech, who are a division of Nissan Motorsports and Customizing, so they basically do take standard versions of Nissan cars and jazz them up a bit. And yeah, being based on being made to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the nameplate means this actually predates both Datsun and Nissan owning the Skyline nameplate, because the Skyline was originally part of the Prince Motor Company, who also gave Nissan the Gloria name. Yeah, it's a shame that we don't have any Prince vehicles on these games, because they are an interesting part of Nissan's history. But still, nonetheless, this is part of the current car pass. So yeah, it's I think the 5th or 6th vehicle that we've had so far. But yeah, it's nonetheless ultimately a pretty indistinct in terms of the underneath stuff over a standard Skyline from this period. But yeah, it's still nice enough to have this kind of variant on this game regardless of that. But it is a little bit of a shame that it isn't more distinct when it comes to the performance or anything else in that regard. But nonetheless, let's get out onto the Hakubu circuit and see what this car can do. Right, here we are once again at the Hakubu circuit, and as per usual, we'll hear what the car sounds like, then we'll talk about it some more. So being based on a 4th gen Skyline, it still sounds great. There's no doubt about that. Obviously the engine doesn't seem to have probably been changed all that much at all. When it comes to the styling, actually now looking at it, the rear end does look a little sleeker than the standard version, maybe to compensate for the fact that obviously it doesn't have a rear spoiler anymore, so it's been changed slightly to make it look a little bit more interesting. And this is actually the 7th car in the car pass so far, so yeah, how time flies. I can't believe it's been that long since the car pass actually started. But yeah, you can't really feel much in the difference in terms of performance and handling on this car. Obviously it does have that 44 pounds of extra weight, but I can't really tell much of a difference really. And it's still able to do 0 to 60 in 5.245 seconds, 0 to 112.75 seconds, and going to a top speed of 171 miles an hour. And I think that top speed is actually better than the standard version, probably because it does have that sleeker rear end without the spoiler to provide any extra drag. So yeah, on the whole, a fairly decent car. It's just a shame that it's not really all that much different outside of its visuals over a standard 4th gen, which obviously we already have in the game, which was added as part of the festival playlist in the previous series. So yeah, but it's still decent enough. I just wish again it was something a bit more different to a standard 4th gen Skyline, you know, as in a completely new vehicle from Nissan, or even something from the Prince Motor Company, given that's where the Skyline name started. A Prince Skyline, for instance, would be highly interesting to have in this game, but it's still decent enough. It's not my favourite car in the car pass so far, but as far as road cars go, you can do a lot worse. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.